Hey guys. Okay, so this is a continuation of yesterday's video revolving about the topic that I didn't want to get into. And I'm only doing this because of the amount of women that are going through this and that have been contacting me for readings. Because of the last video that I had, they've all been contacting me about this. To find out if they're in this delusional mind frame of having a twin flame, if it's real, or if it's just fantasy that they're in, okay? And I'm just going to say, before I accept any form of compensation, like money, okay, from any of you, before I even allow to be, to take that responsibility, I mean, somebody's got to step in and kind of really bring that responsibility to the table and really bring that truth out. However, before I do, I just want you to know, nobody can tell you anything. Nobody can make you feel anything. Nobody can make you grow. Nobody can teach you anything, because you are your greatest teacher. Okay? Again, as always, I'm somebody that can give you another, a form of enlightenment. I'm somebody that can be your guide. I'm somebody here that can wake something up within you. But again, I don't like these definitions. Most people don't have a twin flame. I'm not saying, there are people that are really genuine in this spiritual purpose, okay, and they really authentically care about what's going on in this world, and they're aware, they're doing so much work that they're aware that by them doing readings is ushering energies all across this globe right now, and, and the positive note, it's waking up the youth. On a negative note, it's creating more genocides. It's creating more wars, So, I mean, for other readers, I don't suggest you, to be so compassionate to the point where you kind of blind your clients and kind of just to make it so positive that that they go leaving you to go to another reader because they want somebody to kind of give it to them straight up. But it's getting hot in here. I'm going to open the window. 1 second. But I just want you to know that the only person that can help themselves is the person that's going through it. And so, if you ain't heart-centered and you're not using your intuition, you're not in tune with your intuition, then of course, you're going to question your entire existence, and you're not even going to be living on the path of spirituality. So, everybody around me has a cold. So, in order to prevent myself from getting cold, I'm like sucking on this lime. Anyway, so I struck a chord with some women from the story that I said the last video about the topic that I don't want to get into, about the twin flames. And how I met a girl who, there was a group of them I met in person. They all live close, 10 minutes, 15 minutes away. We met in the community when I was a part of but what I'm trying to say is, I'm going to give you some stories, things that happened, okay? So I met a lady who actually used to follow me on my Facebook page back in 2012, 2013, okay? She's in her late 40s. She's divorced and she has a son. Okay? Still very much close to her ex-husband, or if I'm not mistaken, they didn't even get married. It was just she got pregnant and she never married him, okay? But they're still close. The husband pays for everything, which is not my business. But because she has all this time and her son is, I don't know, like 11, 12, 13, can't remember. She has all this time, so she's figured, and she says she's great at manifesting things, so she's figured she'll start her own YouTube channel. So she figured she'll try to start her own business about spirituality, and partner up with people. So I do remember this person following me on my Facebook at the time, but again, I did close. I had my Facebook page was closed after. I'm not talking about my profile. I'm talking about my actual page, my Red Earth Goddess page, where most people remember me by, when I had really long red hair, like flaming red hair. So I met this girl at an event, and we were talking, and she gave me her, I gave her my, she was asking to keep in touch. She liked me. We hung out for a bit because we went to the same event. We knew the same people. We went out for wine and sushi. We went back to the event downtown, Toronto. So she asked for my number, so I just gave her my card because I didn't have enough time. I gave her my card, and obviously it said the Red Earth Goddess on there. And she's like, "Oh my God, no way." She's like, "You're kidding me." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "That was you?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Oh my God, back in, this year, I remember your Facebook page. You came out way before the whole Mayan thing, Mayan calendar, the whole big December 2012 shift. And everybody, I remember," she's like, "all these archaeologists worldwide, they used to follow you because you were like the first goddess movement before the whole 2012 thing coming out, the Mayan 2012 thing." Not that I was a movement, it was more just, I was called into shamanism, and I was initiated into, given this name and this responsibility, and so I was sharing all my experiences, and let alone did I even know, I had never even heard of Babylon, the new religion. I had never heard about this stuff, okay? Meanwhile, I was writing my book. I had photography done of me where I'm walking in this gold outfit and I'm holding this golden chalice. What the hell? I had no idea that this is connected to this goddess named Babylon, my name being 777. I had no idea until after all that stuff during Ascension and all that, everybody was like, again, there was initiations going on, and then people were like, "Oh my God, you're fulfilling this. You are a prophet of this aeon. You have this twin flame," or whatever. And I was like, at that stage, I was like, what even is a twin flame? Because all my life, I've experienced these spiritual awakenings since I was little. It has never closed. It has never dimmed down. It's always just gotten more intense and stronger and stronger and stronger. And so whenever I did ever bring it up when I was young, people were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So I kept my mouth shut. I was very secretive. I was very silent about everything, about the pains, about everything I was experiencing. I never talked to anybody about it. Little did I know there's actual, occult, mystery schools talking about, you know what I mean? So I was just talking about things I was going through. And people are leaving me messages, private messages, leaving me messages on my comments. "Oh my God, it's her. Oh my God, it's you. Oh my God, it's you." And there's this one group from Europe, musicians. They created like a little lyric song for me, Red Earth Goddess, and they left it there, and it was the cutest thing ever. And anyways, so we talked about that, and she laughed. She's like, "Oh my God, that was you." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And she's like, "That's just weird." She's like, "All this time, you live close to me, and that's so funny." And she's like, "That's hilarious how we're connecting now. What's the chance?" So she was totally attracted to what I was doing, and she's like, she invited me out we went out for drinks again. And we were talking, and she's like, I'm planning to open up a business. I'm gonna buy this school area, and I want you to be a partner of mine. So she's like, let me, after a wine, let me go take you to go see this building. She's like, why not? Let me check it out. Let me just check it out. I'm not saying I'm gonna do this. I don't know this woman. I don't know what she's like. Knock on wood, it's beautiful. Someone's coming here offering something like this, right? But for me, because I'm such a self-reliant, independent, strong-headed person, okay, and some people sees that as a negative. It can be, but I balance everything out. I balance my heart. I'm very much more into my heart than anything, but that doesn't mean I'm blind and I follow this, you know what I mean? And vice versa. So, I went to go see this place. There was a few places, actually, we ended up looking. Let's just cut to the chase, okay? I chose not to do it with this woman because I didn't like what she had to stand for. She invited me to her house. I'm going to be really authentic and really truthful, okay? I'm not doing a business partnership with someone who is desperate to be part of a movement, a woman empowerment or youth empowerment or self-empowerment goddess movement. When you treat your husband, your boyfriend, your son, your child like shit, no. She invited me over a few times to her house. And what I saw was not pretty. It was not pretty, okay? So, I suggest if you ever do business with anyone, and I'm talking about partnerships, you gotta know what they're like behind closed doors, alright? That's the most important thing. You gotta know what they're like behind closed doors. So, because anybody can come up and start talking about anything, but what they're like behind the veil, behind the curtain, what are they like? You know what I mean? So, anyways, I'm not going to get into her, that's not important. The point right now, I ended up we went to this place, after we left her house and all this stuff, and she was talking about this Asian guy that she went on a business trip with, much younger than her, and she's like, I'd rather be around younger people. Again, she was in her late 40s. Don't get me wrong, this woman is a very beautiful woman. She looked 20 years younger, takes care of herself, surrounds herself with youthful people. So she was around younger people, and so she's talking about this Asian guy and how she went to a trip. She traveled to California. She went to the most spiritual place in California, and what he does is he's a shaman. He's an Asian shaman, and what he does is he has these big white crystals, and she's like, oh yeah, she's like, we have proof she has a YouTube channel and he has a YouTube channel. And apparently in this one video, they went to California, which I've never watched, nor do I want to see it. He's taken this crystal quartz, and in front of everybody's eyes, he starts spiraling this crystal quartz up in the sky, and he's saying how he's going to make it rain, because he's a shaman, and that's what he does. And all of a sudden, it starts raining. And so this woman has been tantalized and mesmerized and all this stuff by his power. So she's like, I'm totally going to business with him. So she said, you know what, Talar, since we're going to get into business together, which I never said I was going to do 100%, I was just listening. Again, she invited me over another time, and then she also invited another woman over, which we knew from this event that when we got together. She has a shop, a place that she was renting out from that I kind of looked over when she would be away. Her and her sister, they did it together. Also, she's a known psychic in Toronto. when she met me the very first time when I came in, she was just like looking at me, and then I'm like, hi, and then she's just looking at me, and I'm like, nice to meet you, I'm Talara, and she's like, oh my god, and I'm like, what? She's like, please don't be alarmed, but nobody has that. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm like a known psychic. She told me her name. She's written novels, and she said, I read auras, and she goes, your aura is gold and it's white, and she's like, nobody has that aura. She's like, you have done a lot of work, and she goes, nobody can bullshit me into this. Nobody can bullshit me about who they are because their aura tells me. And I just started laughing, right? Because just the things that she was saying was hilarious. She's like, you've done so much work. And a lot of other stuff started happening at that location because all these people were like gathering together. But there was an event at this Toronto place that she invited me to go with her and a few others. And so, that, you know, the lady in her 40s that wanted to do business with me, she ended up being there. Okay, so I had to kind of get in the car with her and drive with her for like 45 minutes because the other car was too full of people. But anyways, so we were connecting in the car. So anyways, she said, you know what, come over. You can meet this guy. Oh, you know, in his past life, he was Genghis, what is his name? Genghis Khan, something like that. Okay, which everybody's like, who is Genghis Khan? And so I'm like, okay, why not, right? She's like, I've told him about you. That she didn't say information about me, but she just said, oh, another shaman's coming because she knew me as a shaman. So, you know, all three of us can do business together. We can do this together. She goes, I know him, you know, we can go to California, all three of us, and whatnot. So I was like, let me just meet this guy. Let me meet these people. So the other lady that read my aura came. This Genghis Khan guy came. And obviously she was there. And I was there after. I walked in. They're talking. So this guy, I started explaining myself. I started explaining what we're doing, what I do. I went in, I shook his hand. And then I told him what my purpose is, what I'm here to do. And he's just staring at me the whole time. And then I told him my spirit name. And he just looked at me like this. And obviously he's picking up stuff. And I also think that he knew me from my page and stuff because a lot of other stuff that he had talked about before. So if you watch my old videos, and you know that I come from an Armenian background, and you know that, which is, my ancestry is Anatolian, the regions of Anatolia, which is present-day Turkey, and it's supposedly Genghis Khan characters from Mongolia, and the term Turk is actually an ancient Mongolian tribal group of people, okay? So there's a connection here, okay? There's a connection, the Armenian and Khazarian connection, which is how I met these people. So this is something that we had to kind of, you know, work towards because of past life things were coming up. So, I meet this guy. He's got this big crystal. I'm not going to tell you 100% everything that happened, but he's showing me, he's like, oh, you know what, Talara? He's like, they start talking. That's right. They're talking about some business stuff, these two ladies. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just listening. I'm listening to the women. And then all of a sudden this guy, he goes to me. I'm going to call him Genghis Khan because that's what they would call him. Even though I never called him that before, nor did I reference him as that, but I'm going to do that now. And so he's like, I want to show you something, Talara. And I'm like, yeah. Because he was checking me out, eh? He's checking out my tattoos, this Metatron's cube. He's like, oh, you've got the Metatron's cube. And he walks around with giving women, like he gave that 40-year-old woman as well, these crystals, like beautiful crystals. Because I remember when I first met her at that event, I was like, that is the most beautiful crystal necklace I have ever seen. Like it was like an indigo, purple, the shape and the pyramid. So he put this necklace on her and some other girls, and he goes to me. He had one on too, and he goes to me, "Can I show you something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's just showing me the necklace. His was clear white. It was like a clear quartz. And he goes, "Can I put this on your neck?" And you know what? The past is the past, and years of my life, it's over. All that stuff has been paid off. Okay, the karmic debt's over, contracts are over, the ages are over, the centuries are over, the kingdoms are done, you know. Now, at present day age, I'm gonna admit it, okay? I'm an inner detective, okay? I can see through people's bullshit, and a lot of times, I wouldn't like to use the word pretend, but I've kind of had to keep my intelligence, my true intelligence, on a low that I don't know what somebody's intentions are, and I'm just kind of like, go ahead, you know. But it was because I wanted to know how this guy works. I wanted to know, what's he doing? Who is this guy that he claims he's Genghis Khan? Like, I wouldn't even admit to everybody that I'm a shaman. It's a huge responsibility. It's only recent ages, recent days, recent times, okay, that I'm walking around and saying, you know, I'm a shaman. This is what I do. Because you will be tested. You will be tested. You will be tested. So, like I said, you know, when you say you have a twin flame, you're bringing that to you. You're bringing... Anyways, so we went, he put on the necklace. I said, sure, okay, put on the necklace. So he came behind me. He put on the necklace. He said, wear it. Keep it on the whole time we're here. I said, okay. I had an amber ring on here, and I think I had a labradorite ring here, and I'm just sitting there, and he had this big white crystal, and I can't remember if I asked him what that was for, even though I knew. I can't remember, but we're going to fast forward, and all of a sudden, the women are talking, right? And I'm like, not acting, not pretending, but I'm like making it look like I'm listening to what they're saying, like I'm not watching this guy, I'm only paying attention to what they're doing. And what do I see on the corner of my eyes? He's just sitting there, pointing his big ass clear quartz. I'm talking huge ass, like his big chunk, eh? And he's just walking around with this thing, like a freaking dildo. Yeah, like a pouch. Excuse me. Oh, like it sounds like I'm getting the bug. So, walking around with this crystal, and he's sitting there, and I see him, he's pointing it. First he's pointing it at the necklace, right here, because it fell right here in the center. Then he's pointing it, he's shifting it, he's pointing it on my amber ring, and then he's pointing it on my labradorite ring. And he's just, what is he doing? You know what he's doing? He's taking energy. He's taking my energy. Watch. So then, they're just talking, and I'm just like as if I don't know what this guy's doing, right? Let me tell you, I'm an inner detective. I see through people's illusions. My power animal, most of my spirit totems, are one of the most sight-seeing, sight-breaking, delusional, seeing right through the illusions. My power animal is a snowy owl. I got other owls all around me. I got crows around me. I got cobras and serpents around me. I got a lot, let me tell you. I got a lot. A lot. Ants, bees, spiders, you name it. Lots of... I'm not even going to get into details, the amount of... Anyways, so then he says to me, because they were just chatting it up the whole time. Mind you, she had told me before I met this guy that this shaman, Genghis Khan, or whatever his name is, he does exorcism on people. Okay? Apparently he goes to these spiritual places, meetups, communities, he gathers people around, and he charges people for exorcisms. You know, people come in and they pay for a Reiki, or they do an exchange for a Reiki. Well, what he offers is an exorcism. She told me that. And apparently he was planning to do exorcisms with these women, where they go there and they get the fucking YouTube video and they're recording the entire event while he does these exorcisms with this crystal. He uses this crystal to suck out, these energies possessing them. Okay, and the way this guy talks is that there's parasites and serpents all over people's butt. Like, it's just anyways. So he goes to me, you know what, Talar, I want to show you something. Again, he's telling me I want to show you something. There's shape-shifting. I want to show you some shape-shifting. And then all of a sudden, the lady in her 40s, she starts talking to the other woman. She's like, oh my God, Talar, totally do it. He does this amazing shape-shifting. All of a sudden, he's going to shift his face and he's going to be somebody else. And I'm like, what the what? You know? I mean, I believe in aspects of shape-shifting. Hell, I do it. But it's more on, for me, it's more about shifting my shadow, aspects of my shadow, keeping quiet about certain things, bringing out a certain aspect of my personality, like an identity. It could be an ancestor. It could be, you know what I'm trying to say? It could be a power totem. It can be a spirit totem coming out. But I'm like, okay, what's this guy talking about? He's like, oh, but I gotta show you in the washroom. I can't show you out here. I gotta show you in the washroom. And I'm like, she's like, don't worry, he won't do anything. He's a total gentleman. She's like, I went to California with him. Like, I got drunk. She's like, he could have taken advantage of me. He didn't do anything. She's like, you can trust it. And I'm like, all right. So he takes me to this washroom. He slowly starts shutting the door. He kept like a little bit, like a thin line open for a little bit of light, you know? The lights are off. He's standing in front of me, like, you know, the way you're looking at me right now. Right in front of me. I'm right behind the mirror, and he's, like, in front of the toilet, okay? He's just staring, and he goes to me, stare into my eyes. And I'm like, okay, that's it, right? He's like, no, just stare into my eyes. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I start looking into his eyes. And I'm just staring into his eyes. Like, maybe a good 3 minutes pass by. And his eyes start to water. And I'm looking at him like, he can't even handle it. Tears are coming in. Like, he can't handle my presence type of thing. And then all of a sudden, he's like, you can't see it? And I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then he just shifts, he turns his head, and he goes, did you see that? I'm like, all I see is tears coming down your face. And he just opens the door, and then he just walks out. And then he just walks away from everybody, walks away from me. And then all of a sudden, like, the girl in her 40s, she comes up to me, she's like, did you see him shapeshift? Did you see him shapeshift? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I saw. And then, again, I'm not a liar, but I want to know what these people are about. I'm sorry, I'm going to be very truthful, but I'm getting into business with it. I've had some really bad experiences, okay, with these fucking people who claim they're all about spirit, and then, so, he goes to her, he comes back, he starts, like, shifting around, like, moving around, like he's restless, and he's, like, going like this, trying to get his tears all cleaned up, and I ain't bullshit, this is all real. And so he she goes, oh, I want to see your shape shifting. I want to see your shape. So he's like, okay, okay. So they go in the washroom, and then all of a sudden, after 2 seconds, she's like, oh my god, I totally saw him shape shift, and I'm like, oh my god. To me, these are all red flags. Like, I don't have a problem with someone who says, look into my eyes, or, you know, because we do that sometimes in Reiki and stuff like that. It's for a charge or whatnot, but just the whole feeling behind it felt really weird. Like, it didn't feel right. So, she had plans for us all to get together and have dinner apparently after this, okay? So, before this all took place, I remember when we were talking and I told him what I'm all about, my mission, all this stuff. When she introduced me to him, to Genghis Khan, she's like, oh, Talar's a shaman too, and then she's like, oh, she does exorcisms and all this stuff, and I was like, okay, but I don't call them exorcisms. Like, that's not what I do. It's all about, you know, really getting in there, and like, I don't do drugs. I don't get possessed. I'm in the present, and if you are being possessed by a spirit entity or anything at all, even an addiction, and you're calling me to help you, then what I do is stay present for starters. You know, I got my ways. I got what I do. You know. And like I said, I'm not going to really get into everything that I do. Like, I'll use harmonics, I'll use sage, I'll use mantras, I'll do chants, you know. But I'm present. I'm not possessed by no entity or no other being when I'm doing it. Because I got to watch what's going on, right? So, all of a sudden, you know, he's like, oh, but what I do is exorcisms. And I'm like, nobody's going to come in and pay you so that you exorcise a demon out of their being. Nobody, no conscious being or unconscious being who is possessed is gonna come out and say, I will pay you $80 so that you can get this demon out of myself. I've never heard of that before. But to each their own. So I kind of found this really fishy, okay? So, this is just too funny thinking back, right? So, oh yeah, so fast forwarding. So, they come out of the washroom, and she's like, okay, we're gonna go have dinner, and, you know, because he's gonna do his exorcism, in like 3 hours, so we have time to have dinner. Because she invited me over so I get to meet this guy, and she wants to know what I think about him, if he's trustworthy, you know. So he comes out like this guy's, and then I look over, like, he's shivering, he's sweating, he starts sweating all over. Like, I've never seen anybody sweat like that from doing nothing. He's sweating. There's like sweat everywhere, and he was a pretty, like, skinny guy. Like, he's not, you know, overweight at all. And he was wearing, like, a shorts, like, you know, like a tank type of shirt. And so this is going to be a long-ass video. So all of a sudden, he's sweating and he leaves. And she's like, where are you going? We're going to go all have dinner. And he's like, no. And his eyes are watering still. He's like trying to hide it. She's like, what's going on with you? And he's like, I got to go home. I can't have dinner. She's like, yeah, but he's like, I have an exorcism. She's like, yeah, but we have all this time. And he's like, no. I got to go home and I got to prepare. He takes his crystal, puts it in the pouch, the vibrator pouch, and then he storms off. He just leaves. And I picked up on so much information, it's not even funny. We go to dinner, and whatever. So, excuse me, we didn't go to dinner yet. Because we had 3 hours, I said, you know what, sweetheart, I gotta go home. since you live close by me, I'll see you within the next hour or so, because I got some stuff to do. She's like, okay. I went home. As soon as I got home, I knew exactly what this guy is planning to do. He is stealing everyone's freaking energy to do these exorcisms, to invoke these weather storms. He's taking their energies. He's taking these crystals. Oh, I forgot to mention, when I left the washroom, he put the necklace back on. That's when he invited the 40-year-old woman to go in the washroom and shapeshift for her. Okay, so he had that on. So he took my energy right there. He took my heart chakra, my balance, my healer, my inner truth, my true self. He took it. He took it from my hand, each hand. Okay, he took it from her, and now he's going to do these exorcisms. So he's not doing the work. He's building up this karma for everyone, okay? That everyone's identities are being raped, okay? Everybody's identities are being used to heal or to take away, apparently, a possessed entity when he isn't doing the work. Now, before I met this guy, we met this other girl, younger than me, the girl that I talked about. She has a twin flame. He's Asian, she's European. This is the girl, and this is the guy. Not the 40-year-old, this is the other girl that was crying, saying, oh, he's sleeping with her and he's sleeping with other women. This is the girl. This is the guy, this is the girl, the young girl. She's like, you can totally trust this guy and all this stuff. And when I even met her, I sensed something really fucked up was going on between all of them. Something so fucked up that they themselves cannot see what the hell is happening. Only he knew. And he even himself, all he talks about is freaking aliens. Aliens are coming. And the way he would talk was, the aliens are coming. In the next few years, the aliens are coming. I'm possessed by these aliens. You're possessed by these aliens, but you are doing exorcisms on people. Anyways. So all of a sudden, I got home. And let me tell you something. I just want you guys to know, this is why I've always said I don't use tools, because from everything I've experienced as a little girl, not having a guide, not having anybody to protect me on my energy body, my emotional body, my physical body, the amount of death, things I've been through, the rapes, the deaths, all that stuff, finding out about my DNA, finding out about my ancestors, finding out about everything else, okay? Being visited by them, being visited by the paranormal, all this stuff, being initiated by them, all this stuff, and me keeping silent about it, going through hell in school, going through hell and everything else. That's most biggest reason as to why I don't use tools, or I never would use tools, and I never needed them. Even without crystals, none of that stuff. I mean, crystals help me to direct and to kind of protect, but same with sage and like sweetgrass and all that stuff, Palo Santo, pine, all that stuff. But I don't need to conjure up no entities with a voodoo doll or a hoodoo or put up a spell and stuff like that, because I am very consciously aware that since childhood, when I would speak, immediately things would manifest in front of my eyes, and it would happen for other people. So, growing up as a little girl, a lot of times I would keep silent and keep my mouth shut because I was afraid of myself. I was afraid of what I was capable of doing. So, I was inflamed because I was surrounded by a very angry mother, and I didn't want to turn into her. I didn't want to turn to an angry person, so I would keep in anger. I would keep in what happened to me, so I was building it up. Like I said, nobody taught me. Nobody taught me how to, so I had to teach myself. So, I didn't have those tools. I didn't have it, coming from a woman who believed. My mother used to say, you're Satan's bride. You're Lucifer's bride. Satan's got you. Lucifer's got you. Like, well, who talks like that, right? Who talks like that? So, so I didn't even know what the hell that meant when I was little. And then my sister starts spinning the wheel of the Ouija boards like crazy, because, like, you know, and all the entities, all the spirits are coming to me as a little girl, 3 years old, 2 years old, 4 years old, you know, all this stuff's happening to me. They're possessed, and, you know. So, I got in front of my house, and frick, this is a 40-minute video. So I got in front, this is going to be an hour video. So I got in front of my house, and I'm literally standing in front of my house, and let me tell you, 2 to 5 minutes, all I did was stand in front of my house. I didn't even go inside my house, you know, yet. I got in front of my house, and I commanded my energies to return to me. Anything that had been taken from me consciously or unconsciously, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, physically, anything that has been taken away from me, whether it was under my will, whether it was against my will, I command it return to me. It is my energy. It is mine. Return to me. I locked and sealed it. I cleansed my aura with my freaking fingers and my intentions. I do an alignment, okay? Body, heart, spirit, and the physical. My root, I do a physical alignment, and I locked and sealed my aura right then and there. 2 to 5 minutes, just with words. This is why I say the biggest, you don't have to conjure up no voodoo hoodoo. The greatest, we're all witchcraft. We are walking, talking witchcraft. Our body, our existence is made up of witchcraft, okay? If you are just aware that you speaking up words is witchcraft itself, now in your eyes you can see witchcraft as a positive or a negative. Either way, it's not wrong. Okay, but at the end of the day, we all speak, and it's a power. And I trusted it was done. I felt it in my heart that it returned to me. Okay? It returned. And I went home, and I felt so good. I felt, not that I felt good that I did anything, but because I didn't do anything. That's all I said. I didn't wish anything against his will. I didn't return no negative energy to him. I didn't conjure up no entity to go and attack him. Because, you know, these things return to you when you do that, right? Because when you do that, you're leaving your skid marks. You're leaving implantations of thought patterns into an entity to go and do something. So that entity remembers you and wants you when you invoke certain things like this, eh? Just be aware of it. Just be aware. So we got to dinner, and she gets a text message an hour and a half after the time, like when he got back. She's like, oh my God, it's him. And I'm like, what? And she's like, he doesn't feel good. And she's like, I'm like, did he go to the exorcism? Did he do this? She's like, yeah. And he's like, he's saying that he feels really like, he just nauseated and he just doesn't feel good. And I was like, oh, right? So that night, I went home, passed out. I felt good. I felt protected. The next day, she calls me, she's like, I need to see you. I really need to see you. And I'm like, okay, like, honestly, I have a business. Can you, like, just a little bit, like, you know, respect my time here? And she's like, no, I really, really need to see you when you have the time. I'm like, okay, whatever. We got together, and she's like, I don't know what happened to him last night. This guy, I'm not going to give out his name because he has a YouTube channel, okay? I don't know if it's still running, his YouTube channel. I'm sure hers is. But I don't like to disrespect. I'll tell you my stories, but I don't cause wars. I'll defend my position. I don't cause drama, but I'll defend my position. So he's apparently he met up with that younger girl after. Because I met her a year later. I met up with her a year later. Somehow we just that was when she was crying and she was telling me that he's sleeping with her sleeping with other women and that they're twin flames. She ended up telling me everything that happened that night, which was double the amplified of what the 40-year-old woman told me, okay? The 40-year-old woman told me only a little bit stuff. But now I'm going to fast forward, okay? Let's just say I stopped talking to her. It didn't go with the 40-year-old. A year later passes by. The girl, she's crying, she's shaking. I said, sweetie, let's go out for coffee. Like, I went and I paid for the coffee. I gave my time to this girl, 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm like, you need to talk to me, please. Let's talk. So she told me everything. She's like, I know about that night you went with, you met him and all that stuff. Because I told the other girl, I said, listen, this guy is fucking, and she's like, he does drugs. She's like, I remember, like, because I said, he's taking your energy. He's taking everyone's energy, and he's manipulating these energy things to start raining, and he's manipulating everything. And all of a sudden, she's like, oh my God, you're so right. She's like, I remember when we went to California, the 40-year-old woman. She's like, he starts popping these drugs when I was drinking, and he's asking me to do drugs. And she's like, when I was younger, I abused drugs. I'm not going to lie. And she's like, I got over it. I stopped doing it, and I don't want to get into it ever again. And I was tempted. She goes, I'm not going to lie. I was tempted to do drugs, and he was getting me back into it, and all this stuff. And I'm like, he's not doing the work. He's using everyone's energies to do the work. And so when I met with the other girl, the young girl, I told her, I'm like, yeah, like, he told me he's a shaman. She was like, he's not a shaman. Who told you he's a shaman? And I was like, they both did. She's like, no. He is not a shaman. And I'm like, oh my God, right? So she's like, we've seen him. He's got absolutely no shamanic. He doesn't even know what shamanism is. All he does is use his crystal and all this stuff, right? So she's like, we've done these crystal healings or Reiki healings. She's like, that's all he does. And she was telling me how she slept with him, and oh God, I don't even want to. So she's crying, and she told me everything that happened that night. Apparently she went over to his house, or he went over to her house, I can't remember. And that night, all I hear is he starts screaming like crazy, and he's naked everywhere. He's taking his clothes off, he's vomiting all over the place. And he's like, oh my God, the serpents are coming out of my body. There's parasites everywhere, they're all coming out. Or he's like, and then after 2 minutes, he's like, oh, the serpents are taking over my body, I'm being possessed, and he's freaking out. Like, apparently his body temperature dropped. He's vomiting all over the place. He knocked out. He passed out. All because he looked into my eyes, and he could not handle a woman who believes in protecting people when he's stealing everyone's energies. And I'm all about empowerment, self-empowerment, protecting women, protecting the youth, protecting other men who are being raped of their energy fields. I can't even 100% blame this guy, because I don't even think he even knows what he's doing. He doesn't know. He doesn't even, like, he's not even 100% aware of that. And he's talking about aliens are coming. So he's being possessed. In a fashion, he's being possessed. All I heard is, after that, all of them, both women, they said, you need to meet up with Talara again, and he would bolt. He would never show up. Every time he would hear my voice, hear my thing, he would say, I gotta go, and he'd leave. He'd start shivering and sweating all over again. So, I remember it just hit me right there, and I told them all, because she was like, oh, I was his soldier. We've had past lives together. He was Genghis Khan, and I was his soldier. I was a man at the time, and I was his general, and all his BS. And not that I don't believe it, but just BS in terms of why are you, even if I met with my ex-lover in a past life, in this life, if he's taking advantage of me, then how am I ever going to put up with it? I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If you're going to try to take advantage of me, I'm not even, you know what I mean? I'm going to let you believe you're taking advantage of me in the long. I'm going to let you believe that. Because I know how these energy fields work. I know how these dimensions work. You don't. You're not 100% aware. I know that when you work something off, you're going to have to pay it off 100% more than what you've put out to your victims, so-called prey. So he won't. And this girl just sits there and allows herself, and I told her, listen, this is my number. If you want to get together, if you want to, spend time with me, I'll help you out. Stay away from this guy. And she would listen a little, and then behind my back, she'd go with this guy. I said, okay, you know what? I found out from another girl who was befriending me. She told me that she's telling him everything. She's telling him. Because obviously we were all linked to the Khazarian and the Armenian, that they all fucking... So, you gotta take this information with a grain of salt and laugh it off, because not that you're laughing at them and I'm laughing at them, or you're laughing at me. If you want to laugh at me, go ahead. Well, good, I've amused you, I've entertained you. But what I mean is, most of us, we do things and we're not even aware of what we're doing, right? We'll put on a brave face and we'll pretend like we're aware, but we don't even know what the fuck is happening. We don't know. So we put on these roles and identities and define ourselves as something as to what we're not even aware of. So it's another form of really following a new form of society. When I was talking about in the last video about twin flames and the new age, this new age propaganda is very much a new form of society, and something just dropped behind me, and that's a kind of confirmation. You heard that. That was a confirmation. I don't know what that was. That was a confirmation. So, oh boy. Okay, I'm going to end this video. This is enough. This is enough. The past is the past. I'm protected in all the freaking directions, okay? Behind me, in front of me, my left, my right, my little sealment of my aura, my home, my body, my energy body is very much protected. I've worked so hard, and I always regularly work very, very hard, okay? So, if you're planning on harming another person, especially when they've done a lot of work, be prepared to be harmed back by those energies of which you sent out. Doesn't mean it's the person doing it, because I didn't do anything. I didn't conjure no elements. I didn't even have the thought of harming this guy or these people. But because I'm so centered with my own true identity, which is all about self-love and self-empowerment, true love, unconditional love, all it took was 2 minutes, 5 minutes of him looking into my eyes. Look what happened. Look what happened. So, what really is the greatest power in this entire universe? You are. Your true essence, your heart, your love. Who you really are. Not the surface stuff in front of you. Not these definitions. I'm a shaman, she's a witch. If you want to say you are that, if it helps you, okay. But do understand, you are more than that. You are more than your identity. You are more than your ancestors. You are more. Okay, you are so much more. So, I have some readings to do, and I will have them up maybe tomorrow or the day after. Tomorrow is Saturday, so I may have to do it either in the evening or it will be on Sunday. So, for Canadians, I don't know if I can't remember, but it's Black Friday today, so people are probably shopping away. And I know Americans just had Thanksgiving, so I'm wishing all of you guys a very blessed night. Just check in with yourselves and be who you are, okay? That's what the world needs more of. Being your true authentic self. Okay? The only thing that can really truly come in is success, is when you are being your authentic self. Doors open, something happens, okay? So, alright. Bye.